Okay, so yeah, Sabrine, would you like to go first? And
Yes.
yeah, please, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All righty. This is which chapter are we? This is chapter 2. This is part 2. This is personal leadership.
Okay.
And this one I have gone over twice. I'm gonna probably go over it again, but I love doing the personal traits as I get new students in, and for the old ones, I have them to go over the I want to develop, and steps to achieve. And particularly because the children that been there for the last 4 or 5 years, I want them to see their progress. So I do show them their paperwork, what they did before.
That's on page 45, everyone, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
And
looking at
then
your, yeah.
in our book.
Right.
And then I also have, this is done for our new ones, so that the new students that come in, so they're, so they can start it as well. And my third part of doing this is because it gives them new words that they don't normally use.
Right.
And for them to understand, having, being energetic, being patient, because these are thoughts, I find that this makes the children think. Learn what it is to be helpful. I like that part is because being helpful when we do community events, and to help other people. So I needed those words, which I love, giving, because teenagers, when you're giving of your time, it's meaningful and impactful to other people. Now, for them to understand what optimistic and being a visionary, and what else we have on here, ambitious, being reliable, being sincere. So these are words that I found that they might have had that kind of thought, but they did not see the word, ever seen it. And
Right.
then for them to identify it, so now this is a discussion. So once they write it, once we, to do the I have, so I learned this from sitting with Julie, because Julie did this with her teams. So therefore I could go around and then I said, okay, let's start with this one. And I'll either have them give me 1 or 2 out of I have, and 2 or 3 out of how, you want to develop it. But then I'll make all of them say how the steps that you're going to achieve it, because they need to hear what they wrote. And hopefully, like I say, that it's still become a thought pattern. And that's why I love doing this one. Also finding that their thoughts have changed from year to year. So that's why I made the point to try to do this one every year.
Yeah, good. Great.
The second part, part 3, interpersonal relationships.
Okay.
Because they, they have male and female friendships, and finding how impatient they are with people, and, trying to give them a dialogue of, nobody's perfect, you're not perfect, so you can't expect your friends to be perfect, but you also want to be able to have friendships, sorry about that, friendships that you trust, that you can love, that you appreciate, that you have communication skills. So then they did the thinking about male and female. We had them write that, but they also had fun doing.
How did that go?
Huh?
Can you talk about that? The male, you did the male and female chapter, and
Yes, this is in this chapter. This is about reflections, but what they listened. But see, they still didn't identify it with themselves. So they listened to the question, do you agree with, when they read this, the paragraph about the couples. And so at that point, this part I did late last year. No. We did this the year before.
okay.
But what I did was I went back over it, and I went through thinking about male and female. And so these were like 5 questions. And then on the other side, it was, we didn't do the reflection, we did about thinking about male and female relations. They still are still trying to find out who they are. The reason I did this one too is because of their emotional state. They're very emotional because they want people to like them.
Right.
And so that's what we talk about, people, what it is to have a true friend. So on the other page, it's about real love character tests. And then they did it, and then they put down their scores, and then we had them talk about, how they come out with those answers and questions. Because this was basically, like I said, still about values and kindness and courtesy, not judging, having good judgment, having bad judgment, and like I say, this is about trust factors in their friendships, because they have so much anger in them, or they don't have enough patience with people. So this is about them trusting and learning how to trust people that they say is in their circle. And that's, I talk a little bit more about their trust and being positive, because I see how much anger that's inside of them.
Right. All right, great. Thank you for sharing that. And so you find that they're interested in those discussions about the male and female, and that whole discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Because, when I say this, that I told them that you can have relationships. So we talk about having relationships, and sex is not the primary goal of having a relationship. To have feelings, to have good feelings,
Right.
There's different ways of dating. So we talk about dating, but we also know that most of these teenagers, first of all, they're too young. Second of all, they need to focus on their education. So I'm not, little things like this, I talk to their parents about, but most of them, they're not really, only one out of the whole group that has emotional issues, because she wants everybody to like her. And when they don't like her, then she's like, she is like a wire. And so that's why I try to keep into certain things, because mainly because of her. Everybody else is even killed about waiting and dating and all those things. But we just have that one that if somebody don't like her or don't want to talk, she's wired. So now, gotta remember, if she's like this, how can she study? How can she have peace of mind? So that's why I try to keep, things where they can learn about having respect and being kind to other people, and not expecting all kinds of things.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sabrine. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Okay, and then how about, I guess, Terry's not back yet. Mr. Wilson?
I'll go.
Okay.
All right, so like I said, I'm just now getting into it. I did maybe that lesson one, and I only got to the second part. But what I did was, when we met, I asked him, I said, what is a relationship? So he talked about relationship with parents, relationship teachers. So we have an understanding that it's how you and another person deal with each other. That was their understanding. Okay, so then I said, well, I need y'all to give me a good friend, one who you consider a really, really good friend. And so they wrote it down. Then I went into the chapter. We're on page 9. I went into the lesson 1, friendship. And then I had them read one of the greatest joys in life is friends. Do you remember? And then I said, well, okay. Then we talked about that. Then after that, we moved into still reading through the true friendship depends, I believe, that stuff. I asked them, what did they see in the pictures? And they said, well, they look happy. The 2 girls look happy on page 10. They hanging out, talking. And, of course, teenagers being they make like each other. Girls like girls now. And so the same thing was said with the guys. The guys, they hugging, they might be this. And I said, well, then what about the other picture? Or they probably date. Well, they're in the studio. Those type of things.
Right.
So I said, think about friendship. All right. Write about a friend you had. What was a special what's so special about your friends? So they wrote it down. How did you friendship make you feel? They gave their answers. Have you ever had a disagreement? Now, this is where some funny stuff started happening. How did you resolve the friendship? Oh yeah, well, the person, I had another friend. So they said, I had another friend and we resolved it like that without anything. I said, well, what about the friend that you wrote down? Oh no, we done had some problem. We was friends, then we wasn't friends. And then, and it just, the story just kept changing. Like, I really don't understand. They didn't really understand friendship as it was read in there. While some friends have very good influence over you, we went through that. And I said, and this one I like it, a friendship assessment. I said, all right, your friend that you have on your paper, please write down, give me a true or false. This person was, and it was funny because at the end of it, there was like, sometimes she does get on my nerve, it's some things that she don't do on there. And so I would say, well, again, I don't tell them what to think, but what do you say? What do you think from that? She could be a better friend. And so then we went into the part where, friendship takes two parts. Can you be a better friend? There's some things I could do. So it was funny because it was like they finally got their eyes open up to, you're right, friendship should look like this. Because if I had a person like this, I'll be more open, be more trustworthy toward them. And I don't know if that made sense to you all. But at the time, it made sense to me. It was like, my perception of friendship wasn't the same as what this was. And I don't know, I just felt it was funny. That's the only one I really did. Let me see. Exploring, now we didn't do exploring relationships yet. That's next.
Right. Okay, well, good. I mean, it sounds like you gave them some new things to think about, right? So, yeah.
A couple weeks later, a couple of them, I don't hang out with that person no more.
Okay.
I said, well, why? What happened? It's, they was talking about, and then they said something, and they couldn't understand my point. Did you understand their point? No, I understood their point. Well, I was a little mad, so I ain't even let them talk. Still got to work on it though.
Right.
It's a two-way street,
Yeah, there are a lot of cliques right? A lot of cliques going on in high school and middle school. So
all the time.
Yeah.
So that was mine. And how did I do?
Good. All right. Thank you. And you're just getting started, so we'll let you get away with just one lesson. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. All right, let's go to Julie. Can you? Okay, I'm going to mute myself, and then you have to unmute yourself.
Okay, does that work?
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay, that's sounding better. Okay. I'm back on this topic again about my best talk when it comes to this presentation is talking about pornography, because too many of our kids, they're addicted to pornography. They spend hours watching pornography. And I always tell them, if you spent those hours on your schoolwork, you would be a genius. You would have straight A's,
Right.
Okay? So I review pages 183, 184, and 185. I read it through with them, and then I also share I share a story. I never forgot the story ever since I heard George, who's now in California. I heard him tell the story, and I remembered it very well. A story of a 12-year-old boy, name is Joshua. He started watching pornography at the age of 12. And he watched pornography from, as if he was by himself, he was always watching pornography. Hours, 6, 8, 10 hours a day. And he continued doing this until he was about 21. never dated, never was in a relationship, never even had his first kiss. So he decides that he feels maybe if he gets married, he'll stop. So at the time, Facebook didn't exist. It was MySpace. He went on MySpace and he searched out some girls he used to like in high school and in college, and two of them replied, and one was already married and had children. The other one was available and kind of still liked him, right? So they started this friendship on MySpace back and forth, and they started texting each other. And then they decided that, after a week of that, they got together for tea. Then it started turning into dating. Now here it is, 2 months that they're actually going out on a date like once a week or twice a week. And, no kiss at the end of the date, no overnight, until one day he feels like after like dating for like 3 or 4 months, he's like, well, we're very compatible. We kind of still like each other. Would you like to do life together? So she says, is that a proposal? And he goes, yeah.
Do what?
Would you like to do life together?
Do life together.
Mhm.
Okay.
Would you like to do life together? That's
Okay.
how
Okay.
he says it. So she says, is that a proposal? And he just takes the opportunity to say, yeah, because he was really scared. He didn't know how to handle himself with women. Remember, he was, taking care of business, because on top of him doing pornography, he was also using Thumbelina and her 4 sisters to please himself. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
got to be a little funny. The kids do laugh. They do get it. But when you have a topic like this, I don't want to be sweating anymore. So I get a little humorous. And they understand that. But after she says, is that a proposal? And he says, yeah. He takes the opportunity to use that as a proposal. It really wasn't, but the opportunity was there to say yes. And they in 2 months they planned this wedding, and they got their families together. And here's the ceremony. Here's the honeymoon night, which didn't happen because, normally people get married, they leave on the trip for their honeymoon, they're tired that night, so they have sex the next day. Here they are, it's the next day, they have sex. She wakes up, he's not in the room. She gets up, she looks around the suite, the bathroom, nowhere in the suite. She puts on her robe, she goes downstairs to the concierge, and she asks them, like, do you have like a business office or a computer room? Yes, ma'am, down the hall, make a right. She has her slippers on so no one can see her or hear her coming down the hallway. As she enters the doorway, she's at the threshold, and she noticed that somebody turned a cubicle around, and she realized it's her very own husband, brand new husband. He's staring at the computer. She's quiet. She's there about 10 minutes until he's staring at the computer, not even blinking, and then he starts to please himself. She's in shock. She says nothing. She just turns back around and she goes back upstairs to her room. They're there for 2 weeks in Tahiti. She still says nothing. She just observes. And she notices that every time they wake up, he's not there, or he'll go in the bathroom. Every time they have sex, he disappears. So she says nothing for the 2 weeks. She just tries to enjoy herself. They get back to America. They move into their house. And for 6 months, she decides not to tell anyone or say anything, but she took notes of every time they made love. He would roll off at the end of the bed and end up on the floor. He would be in the garage, be in another bedroom. He had magazines and books and pictures that he was looking at. He was so addicted to pleasing himself, he didn't know how to please his wife. So after 6 months, she says, honey, we have a problem. He is in shock that she has all this detail for the last 6 months. And he's like, I thought that, I was going to quit, after I got married, but I can't. So she says, well, let's go get help. So they go to a sex therapist, and the sex therapist, they feed him all the information, and he says, okay, here's what you're going to have to do. If you're willing, you're going to have to do 3 things. Number 1, stop looking at pornography. Stop looking at your magazines. Stop looking at other people having sex. Number 2, Stop touching yourself. Don't please yourself. Resist from touching yourself. And number 3, do not have sex with your wife. Wife and him is like, what? And you're gonna have to do this for 2 years. So I asked the class, how many of you think he did it for 2 years? Did those 3 things? Maybe 1 or 2 hands went up. How many of you think he didn't do it at all? Like, I don't think he do it. He weak. Da, 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 da. You know, they all got something to say. I says, okay, he didn't do it for 2 years, but he did accomplish it in 18 months. Okay, and why? Because the sex therapist helped them to realize that you have to reprogram your sexual pleasures to depend on your spouse and not on what you're looking at or Thumbelina and her 4 sisters. That's not going to work, you know. And I actually talk about that right before the sex glue slide, and it fits right into that because Dr. Douglas Wise, he also counsels adolescent young boys and people who struggle in marriages that suffer from one of the spouses looking at pornography. So that's one of my best subjects that I talk about when I'm in front of kids or club members or in the school system.
Wow, and they really get it.
What? They definitely get it. They're really quiet and they understand. Some of them actually, you know, say like, wow, you know, I seriously had an addiction to that. I'm glad you told me to stop, you know, because I don't actually tell them to stop, because I tell them, I'm not here to tell you what to do because you're going to do what you want to do anyway. Right. But at least you can never say you were never told. Right. So they appreciate this information. They really, really do.
Good.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really important issue. Okay, I think you have to mute yourself so that I can unmute myself. Okay, yeah, so thank you, Julie. Anyway, I'm really glad that you're able to talk with them about that.
I'm very comfortable now.
Yeah,
I used to sweat under my arms, but not anymore. Now they're nervous and I'm not.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you, everyone, is there any chapter that you feel is difficult to talk about, or that you think is not worth teaching, or it's just a challenge to teach, or anything that you want to bring up? Okay, Julie, yeah.
We need to bring up the subject of LGBTQ. Like what material, because they're going to ask.
Right.
They're going to ask, and like what touch on that subject in the program, in the clubs and in the school.
Okay, so yeah, so Julie's asking about the LGBTQ issue. Yeah, could you close the door maybe? Yeah, so okay, we did discuss this a little bit in the intro, the parent presentation. So
yes, I did see that.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's talk about this issue. So, you know, basically, I would say our perspective is basically that the young people are going through a time of transition. So and the culture is very confused about these issues as well. So it's not surprising that some of them, they may not be confident in their male or female identity. There is a kind of an epidemic among girls who think that they are boys. You know, their identity is, and this is spread through social contagion on the internet. A lot of these girls, normally, if you look at the gender dysphoria, it usually shows up at a very young age, like age 2 or 3, you know, and so, but in the last 10 years, there's been an increase in teenage girls who are saying that they identify as males. And if you look at what they have in common is they're all very much going to certain websites which are promoting this lifestyle, basically. And so, I would say that our perspective is, well, number one, as we say in the part 3 presentation, gay or straight, you should wait, right? So regardless of who you think you're attracted to, now is not the right time to be having sex in your life, period, right? So, and the research does show that teens who have who've had a same-sex experience as a young person, more than half of them, by the time they reach their 20s, they have come to accept their bodily sex, basically. They've come to resolve their struggles and come to feel comfortable in their male or female body. So honestly speaking, I'm happy to hear your thoughts about this, but I feel like we don't necessarily, it's not something that we think is fixed at this age anyway. And if they follow our advice and stay away from drugs, alcohol, and sex, then this issue will in many cases will resolve itself. So anybody want to share other thoughts that you have? Anybody?
Well, I'll just chime in. I have I think I have a unique position because
Reverend Green, I cannot hear you. I don't know why. Hold on. Oh, okay. Can you say something?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now, yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Being a pastor, and our mentoring program was faith-based, and they knew that from the door. So I simply, when the young people would ask me about it, I would say we take, God's design for relationships, which was meant to procreate and to advance, advance the race, the human race, which is why male and female relationships are the ones that are the only ones that we would promote and recognize. And I think it's a tricky subject, and I think that everybody should kind of practice or rehearse what your response is going to be, only because it's going to come up. And we had a young man in our program who was on probation, juvenile probation, and he was on probation because he had a problem with authority. Single mom, he was biracial, his mother was African-American, and his father wasn't around. And so he already struggled with authority. So he tried to take it as an opportunity to get out of the program because, of course, having a issue with authority, he didn't want to be mentored by any person, especially a male. And so he broached the subject with us, and then he went back and tried to say we were trying to force it on him. And the only thing I did was tell him what the biblical view of relationship and sexuality was. But I just say all that to say that I stuck strictly to nature. It's natural, male and female, based on biology, procreation, and even anatomically, they're created as complementary organs. And of course, being a pastor, I also said that we only stand with what the biblical definition of marriage is and relationships, sexual and intimate relationships. So that was ours. But I would just say that make sure everyone should be prepared for those questions, those issues, and have some type of answer to provide.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah. Well, my thing is this here. Look, whether you like males, females, but whoever you like, it's still a relationship. You still have to go through the same relationship as everyone else. I mean, what we're teaching here is don't have sex until you're married. Avoid having sex in high school. That's true for both. It doesn't matter. So the thing is, if I'm a male and I like males, I could go and be free with sex and all that. No, you still have to keep yourself healthy and keep your future seen, you know,
Right.
be able to see your future. It doesn't matter to me. It
Right.
doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
That's true, but isn't one of the topics about interviewing for relationship or marriage or preparing yourself?
Yeah, well, you know, nowadays America is saying that you could be married to a man if you're a man. So
Yeah.
you
So
still have to have
I
that.
agree with you, but I think that
Yeah.
we're supposed to be kind of getting them guidance and starting to prepare them for
right.
the time they will, because especially if you have a high school senior, not college senior, high school senior, very shortly after that, some of them will be kind of preparing for marriage. And I think that just personally as a mentor, I think that I'm trying to equip them and provide them guidance so they can prepare themselves, you know, because if you're not, you don't want to wait until it's time for you to get married to start preparing yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for that,
Right.
you know, for that act. So,
Well, it depends on who they're marrying. I mean, like if a females want to marry a female, they still have to go through that same relationships. I mean, I don't see where it being him, her, you know, the title advertisers they use. Is a person in relationship with another person.
Yeah.
What type of relationship are you gonna have? You know, it's not like if I'm a female and I like a female and I know we're emotional because that's our nature. Still, you know, are you going to cheat on this female? You know, or what type of relationship are you going to have in your marriage? It's the same thing. When two people love each other or believe they love each other, then there should be understanding and, you know, all the things that we teach.
Right.
About 3 boys that was gay and about 2 girls. And one day, Kenny and I, my husband, we both would be together whenever we're talking to, you know, a child by themselves. And I straight up came out and asked him a question. I'm like, could you tell me, like, why do you want to be part of the Free Teens program? Like, why do you want to be here? Because, you know, the kids are asking or coming and telling me that you're gay and you know, or this person is gay or lesbian. But I want to ask you directly, why you want to be part of the program? This is what they said. They said, because I feel safe. I don't feel the pressure of having sex.
Right.
But every place I go, is there's pressure to have sex, or someone's putting me down, or someone's not accepting me, or I'm being bullied. But at Free Teens, I'm not. I feel totally safe. They stayed on Free Teens Club like 4 or 5 years, you know, so they feel safe because we're not judging them. Because we're just promoting, like Mr. Wilson said, that you shouldn't be having sex, no matter, you know, what your gender is. So it's definitely, Free Teens is definitely a safe program for any of our teens, our young people.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just unmute. Yeah.
I've learned that if you give a kid reason not to do the things to harm themselves, then they'll do it.
Right.
You give them that outlet where everybody else that's there have the same idea, the same mindset. No one's corny. You're not the outlier. You're not the person that is going against the grain. No, everybody's doing this. Peer pressure. Peer pressure is it work for you or it could work against you.
Right.
In our case, I think it works for us.
Right.
Everybody around you is not having sex. Why you got to be the one out there having sex?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like a safety zone for them, and they don't have to feel the competition and all that. Yeah, exactly.
And that's true. And that's true for gay or straight. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. In many cases, just becoming older and more mature, they figure things out, you know. I mean, look, high school is a normal place for drama. That's why they have all those high school musicals, right? So,
Try to have all them, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here is, yeah. So yeah, this is our Free Teens Youth. So we have a little video that we made that shows up, but then there are a lot of other videos that you can see. You know, here's Denisha Louis, who spoke at the Teen Media Summit from Los Angeles. and the gift box. There are a lot of great videos that the kids made. And we have our SoundCloud.
Loving that song.
Here are a lot of songs that we've made over the past few years. Here we go. I'll just play one of them.
Yeah, play that one.
I just need some patience with a little bit of time. Yeah, girl, you're cool, but don't tell me what to do.
I love it.
That's not love. Cause that's not love.
I just need some patience with a little bit of time. Yeah, boy, you do. Don't tell me what to do. That's not love. That's not love.
Okay, anyway, it's about not forcing people to do what you want.
Right.
You know, it's a pretty good message.
I was actually there when they made that.
Yeah. And then there's another one about I'm not your property.
I'm not your property, baby, I'm not your property. You ain't gonna lie to me if you not gonna ride for me. I'm not your property, oh baby, I'm not your property. If you ain't gonna ride for me, oh please, just don't lie to me. I'm not your property, baby, I'm not your property.
Okay.
Yeah, play that one. No sex, no regrets.
No sex, no regrets. No sex, no regrets. No sex, no regrets. Ooh, no sex, no regrets. No sex, no regrets. No sex, no regrets. No sex, no regrets. No sex.
Okay, I think you get the point. Okay.
Hey, but can I ask you a question? There's a statewide youth program. And it's media, is music, and talk about not doing stomp down drugs. It's called.
Right.
Have you ever heard of it?
There are different.
Yeah, so many of them.
Yeah, but I'm happy if your club wants to, create something and submit to that's great. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's my next question.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let me play one more.
All this is original music.
Yeah, yeah.
I love myself way too much. Take it slow, go with the flow. I love myself way too much. Oh, I gotta say no. I love myself way too much. I wanna take it slow, go with the flow. I love myself way too much. Oh, I gotta say no.
Last week we on the phone and we talking about ourselves. These temptations, how we just need help. Been together so long, I love it so strong. If loving you is right, why I feel so wrong? I love you, girl, and I just can't stand it like a bandit. You stole my heart and it's damaged. Only for your love, cause the boy is famished. For your love, cause the boy is famished. Temptations all around. I know that you're afraid, but I will never hurt you. Please don't take your love away. Temptations all around. I know that you're afraid, but I will never hurt you. Please don't take your love away.
I love myself way too much. I wanna take it slow, go with the flow. I love myself.
Anyway, you get the point, I think. Okay. There are a lot of good songs on here. And there are a lot of good videos too, actually. Yeah, if you check out the videos, yeah, we have a lot here. And then of course, a lot of, with some of our presentations of Yvonne's story and other videos, lectures, articles. I've been posting articles. There's a Prager University video, dating, don't waste your time. Cohabitation does not lead to stronger relationships. And there are a lot of, there's a lot of more posts that we have, like dozens of innocent mall encounter ends in teen sex trafficking. There's a motivational speech by Jordan Peterson, which is pretty good, especially for the boys. So there's a lot of good content. There are a lot of memes. We create a lot of memes with, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is courage to continue that counts. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. Yeah, we have a lot of memes. Yeah, there's a lot of good content here.
Old free teens right there.
Yeah, this is one of our guest speakers at the Teen Summit. Yeah, so you'll see there's a lot of content here for sure. And then the other website that we have is the Love Smart video, Love Smarts. Here we go. Yeah. So here, so we have a really great talk here by Sandy Bober, who shares that I think she was actually raped. Someone forced sex on her, I think, and then up until that point, she had been abstinent up until this is like her first year in college, and then her life went kind of a downward spiral, and she was just having different sexual relationships with different people, and she's very honest about what happened in her life. She became infected with, I think, HPV, or I forget. And anyway, eventually she kind of straightened her mind out, and then she met somebody, and they were dating, and they waited till marriage. Okay, and they have like 3 or 4 children now. And
it was also, it almost seemed like she couldn't have children.
Yeah, she was worried that she would never be able to have a child because of the damage to her reproductive system. But yeah, it's a very, very good. So the articles on here are a little bit more about. The Free Teen site is more about success. I would say, like, more focusing on your individual success, whereas the Love Smarts, it's really more about relationships. So it's a little bit of a different focus. But there's some great articles here, and so there's really great content here. And then we do have our YouTube channel. And okay, so if you go, then search for Free Teens USA. Yeah, so this one here, and look at videos here, and there are different presentations. There are Brittany Marsh's talk at the banquet, and our speakers at the Teen Media Summit. You've got this great waltz performance by these professional dancers who came. And music videos, and yes, there's a lot of content on here, right? So there's a lot of fun, and there's some skits from the cool kids here that are quite excellent. They won the prize, I believe, that year. And so it's really good.
Congratulated.
Yeah. Let me play a short one for you.
I'm gonna ask next, man. Girl.
Save yourself, save yourself, save yourself. Yeah, yeah, you a winner. You a winner, yeah, yeah, you a winner. You a winner, yeah, yeah, you a winner. Save yourself, save yourself, save yourself. Yeah, yeah, you a winner. You a winner, yeah, yeah, you a winner. You a winner, yeah, yeah, you a winner. Save yourself, you're a winner, not a sinner. Wait for the right time to save your family, live happily ever after. Have chastity, control yourself, masterly. Have an abstinence until marriage, don't rush yourself. Your life will turn into ash, your youth will leave too fast. And that's the truth from the inner you. Don't rush yourself, wait for the right time. Don't rush, take your foot off the gas, don't go too fast. Save yourself, save yourself, save yourself. Yeah, yeah, you a winner. You a winner, yeah, yeah, you a winner. You a winner, yeah, yeah, you a winner. I'm a winner, remember I'm in it to win it. And after that is where it's at, don't you forget it. I'm not giving up on my chastity. For you to use me and make me look goofy,
I'ma wait for the one that's right, then I'ma take a flight like a kite. Yeah, I'm hype, you hot like some tenders. I'm not a rebender, I never surrender. I won't take the bait, that's not my fate. I just wait.
save yourself, save your.
Okay, anyway. Wait, there's some pretty
Right?
fun content there. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, there's a lot, content here on Facebook. And I do hope that you can, post your club activities. That would be great.
Customer service.
And
Community service.
we have the memes here. And yeah, this was from our last mini teen summit. So we had some great, a lot of fun activities there. And yeah, some more pictures from that. More memes. Yeah, so there's a lot of good content, Brittany's talk and
Free Teens USA.
free, is it one word or three different words?
One word. Always
Okay,
one
free
word.
teens. Yeah, okay, here we go. All right, yeah, so this is the, this is it here. So a lot of pictures, a lot of great pictures that Julie's been posting. So can the people post to this or they,
Instagram don't work like that. You have to send it to me.
okay, yeah, so you
Right.
could send the photos to Julie and then she can post photos. Yeah, but there's a lot of great images here. Yeah.
Or I'll tell you what I've been doing. I would go to the Facebook Free Teens Facebook, and if I see stuff, you don't have to send it to me. I could go there. If you post it there, I could go there and repost it.
Okay, yeah, she'll
I'll just
repost it.
Copy and
Yeah.
screenshot and
Right.
put it on Instagram.
Yeah. So I think it is good that if the kids can see that there is a lot of activity going on in different
And there's one for
communities.
Love Smarts too. There's a Love Smart Instagram account too.
Oh, there is. Okay. Oh,
You didn't know that?
I forgot. Okay. Yeah. So she said there's a Love Smarts. Let's look at that. Love Smarts.
That's for the presentations and the school presentation. So if I'm in the school, I take pictures. Of the
Okay.
principals, teachers, and the students in the auditoriums.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So there's
You
also
can't
Love
see it.
Smarts.
Where? Can't see it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hold on. All right. Let me go show you. Okay. Yeah. So this is the Love Smarts as well. Yeah. So so there I guess we have two different Instagram pages.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a way for people. I mean, I think you got into some schools because people at the school saw your Instagram page, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Julie's very good at marketing. That's for sure. Yeah.
See, close-ups are good.
Yeah. Yeah. Close-ups. Yeah. That's really the best.